Disneyland's Magic Key program is almost here, and I'm sure by now that you've done a lot of research about the Magic Keys, and if you haven't, we have another video that kind of goes over every bit of it for you, so you can check that out. But I figured that now is the time to really start thinking about which Magic Key tier is right for you. And this is a completely individual question. It's going to be different for every household, every person. And the only thing that I can really do to tell you what's going to be best for you is to kind of show you what I think are the most important things to consider in order. And then this should hopefully help you possibly save a little bit of money, but also get the one that's going to work best for you and not feel like you just wasted a whole bunch on something that you're not really going to use as much as you had hoped. Make sure that you like and subscribe so you can get more of our other videos and just kind of keep an eye on everything that we have to offer on our channel, as well as on Facebook, Instagram, and other social media accounts. Okay, so there are really 3 things that I feel that you need to consider in a particular order when you're figuring out which Magic Key you want to buy. The first one, obviously, is money. You have to figure out the one that's going to work best for you financially. There are 3 Magic Key tier options for most people. If you're in Southern California, you get a 4th option. But by looking at your finances, you actually will probably limit your choices just by that. Because if you cannot afford the $1,400 Dream Key, then that's not really an option for you. If you are a California resident, you do have the added benefit of being able to pay for these on an installment plan, if you would like. And as I mentioned, if you're a Southern California resident, you have the Imagine Key that you could possibly purchase, which is even cheaper than all the others. So you have a little bit of leeway where some of those like us who are not from California don't. If you're not from California, you have to pay for everything up front. So consider your finances. Number 2 is to look at the blockout dates. After you have figured out what tier options you actually could afford, look at those blockout calendars. The only one that doesn't have any blockout dates is the Dream Key. The Believe Key, which is the one right underneath it, does have a few blockout dates, particularly around the winter holidays, some weekends during the school year, among others. I will give you this as an example about considering your blockout dates, because we had originally thought that we would get the Believe Key to try and save a little bit of money, because why not? The winter holidays are not the most important thing to us in California, so we'd be willing to give those up. But since I'm a teacher, those weekends during the school year are very, very important to us, that we need to have them available so that we can go as often as is possible. And so that's what really pushed us into getting the Dream Key. That's just an example, but do look at those. Yes, the Enchant Key is the least expensive, but are you going to be blocked out on all the days that you would actually be able to go? Because if so, it might save you some money, but you're not really going to use it. So you might have to bump up to the Believe Key. The last thing that I would ever consider would be the perks. If you are one of those many people that are just adamant that they need to have their parking paid for and included for free, the only way that you can do that is by spending $1,400 on the Dream Key. Are you really going to be going enough times to make the money you would save from parking worth it? Because if not, then you may need to consider going for the cheaper options. Because remember, even the Believe Key, it does have half-off parking. The rest of the perks from the Believe through the Imagine Keys are exactly the same. So is it really going to be worth it to spend an extra $600 to get the Believe Key over the Imagine Key just so you can get half-off parking? Or is it really worth it to spend an extra $450 on the Dream Key over the Believe Key just so that your parking is free instead of half off? Consider those things. Maybe for you, it actually is worth it. And if so, good on you. And if not, at least think about it before you lock yourself down in a decision. I know a lot of people are really adamant about that parking, but this is the reality. This is what perks there are. The rest of them are really about the same. They're kind of negligible. Just have those added in. One other thing I'm just going to mention to you guys And this is only applicable for right now when the magic key is not yet available. If you're planning on going on August 25th and getting the magic key online, keep in mind that's when everyone else is doing it. The website's likely going to crash at some point during the day. If you want to avoid that altogether, or avoid waiting in a big long line for something that there is no limited availability of at all, do it some other day. The only thing that you'd have to worry would be if somebody were to take the reservations that you wanted on a specific day in the parks. And if that's really your concern, then buy regularly priced tickets now, make those reservations, and then when you do go to the parks, upgrade to the magic key at the ticket booths. Don't really concern yourself about waiting in a line or going to a crash website, because you're gonna get it no matter what. There isn't a limit to these things. So just don't go too crazy. All right, so hopefully that gave you guys some things to consider and helped you know how we tend to decide these things for ourselves. And maybe after all this, you've decided that the magic key isn't gonna work for you. And if so, I mean, sad day. But at the same time, if it's not gonna work for you, then it's not gonna work. And so there's no reason to pay that money for something that you're just not gonna get the use out of. But hopefully, for most of you, this is helping you guys out and figuring out which one's going to work best for you and your family. If you have any other questions about the Magic Key program, as I said, there's another video that talks all about the details, so you can go search for that one. But you can also put questions in the comments, happy to answer them for you. And if you have any other questions, just let us know. And then I said like and subscribe, and then that's about it for right now. So good luck next week as those Magic Keys become available, and we'll see you then. All right, bye.